Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? So today I just want to talk about my 1 year experience of living abroad in Hong Kong. Oh, a little bit of background. I used to live in the UK. I had a job, but before I left, maybe about 1 to 2 years before, I kind of made that decision slowly to quit and move out of the UK for a dream move to Hong Kong. I kind of felt like I needed a release, and I wasn't really fulfilling my purpose. I felt so. Of course, part of my lifestyle change. There was the fear, if you like, of running out of savings. Going into it, I didn't really have like a solid plan on where the money is coming in from. Basically, it was just like a YOLO moment. I was thinking, hey, if I was going to stay here for years, am I going to run out of savings? That was probably one of my major fears, but another fear would be that I was worried that I wasn't quite going to fit in. So my parents, they were all from Hong Kong originally. As for me, I grew up not really learning the language here, and I didn't really ever become proficient at it. So I thought, oh, maybe there's going to be plenty of awkward moments where I'm uh, fearing of not being able to communicate properly. But when I first moved here, I lived on the part of Hong Kong Island, where it's typically known as like the busy, touristy, expat heavy area. I lived in a very hilly area in an Airbnb originally. It was one of those old apartments, probably from the 70s, where it would have a front door as a metal gate, and there was no elevator. The staircase was completely communal, and it was one of those apartment entrances where there was a door, and then behind that door there was a metal gate that you had to work out how to fully open to get our boxes through. And the first surprise was that I thought, living in this busy part of Hong Kong, I thought there was going to be like a sense of hustle and bustle everywhere we go, but I was pleasantly surprised to know how peaceful that area was. Just being able to walk from where we lived to the waterfront area. The waterfront area was quite tranquil and it was quite nice. It made for really good early morning walks. Of course, in those first few weeks, I felt like a huge sense of excitement. I thought I got to try out all the type of local foods, and I would be eating out quite a lot, and I thought I would be doing a lot of things. I'd be having fun. I had a lot to look forward to. I thought as well, wow, just like London has the tube, it's very convenient to navigate anywhere across Hong Kong. Except here, the transport is so much cheaper. In London, it's about what, like £2 or £3 per journey, depending how far you go, of course. But in Hong Kong, it's like I could travel across the island from Hong Kong side to the Kowloon side, and that would be probably like £1.30 at most. Some journeys even being less than 50p. So now I'm living on the Kowloon side, which is on the other side of the pond of where I used to live. I've been living here for almost a year because I only lived in Hong Kong Island for like a month in that Airbnb. I often end up like talking to a lot of locals as well, so that's one thing that surprised me, is that despite the hustle and bustle of being in a busy city like this, I come from London, and as a Londoner, like people don't really have the time to stop and talk to you unless you live in like a very quiet district. But in Hong Kong, it's like people, especially in Hong Kong Island, actually, I'm actually surprised that more people come up to you and ask you random things. I've actually had more people doing that over in Hong Kong Island than I have on the Kowloon side. A normal day for me, realistically, is staying in this apartment for like most of the day, because I really have to like spend most of my time working. So of course it made a lot of sense picking somewhere that was still within our budget, but somewhere really, really nice. It's very hard to balance time away from that, and I've kind of developed this working bubble where I'm spending weekends leaving this bubble to try to do stuff out here, like eating out and exploring. I think there are a very few and far between times where I would actually go out and do something different out of my own schedule just to do stuff like that. But I think living somewhere for a year, if you did that every single day and treating it as like a holiday, then you very quickly run out of stuff to do. And I think a lot of complaints that people have living here for so many years is that it gets boring very quickly. But I think that goes the same with anywhere. And I've rarely been going on holidays as well for the same reason. It is nice that one of the original reasons why I really wanted to live in Hong Kong was that I had a lot easier and quicker access to neighboring Asian countries. I could go into mainland China easily, like Shenzhen, which is just basically across the border from over there. I could take a quick train to get there. Like Vietnam is like 2 hours away, in Thailand, Japan, Korea, they're about 4 hours away. Australia, if I really wanted to, was 8 hours away. So my best experiences living in Hong Kong, obviously the standout point is the food. Anywhere I go, I can find food which is cheap, delicious, freshly made, and one thing I love to do as well is I love going around stuffing my face in buffets. Because Hong Kong has like so many of them, a lot of chains and local eateries. They're very competitive, especially in an area called Mong Kok. There's like so many like buffets, and they're all so cheap because there's so many of them and there's so much competition. I think Hong Kong has like a lot of things that you can do for free as well. There are often museums that are open on the weekdays that are free as well. There's random events and festivals which, if they're not free, they're quite easy and cheap to access. As for the challenges, of course language barrier is one of the first things that comes to my mind. I mean, personally, my Cantonese is improving. Of course, as you know, I'm learning Cantonese off of my own language learning platform, and it's been very effective to find sentences and phrases that I want to express, learn them, and actually be able to apply them in real life. The language challenges, and often they act as hurdles when it comes to basic communication, and there are some days where I'm just not feeling it, and I'm just not really in the mood to talk to people, especially in trying to recall how to say something. However, Hong Kong is very English friendly. English is still one of the national languages here, and many people still speak it. You can easily get by here with English, unless you're in a more rural area. And that kind of leads on to personal growth, because being here for so long, I've listened to a lot of random conversations here and there. My part of my family lives here, so I have spent time with them, and naturally my Cantonese has progressed that way. Whilst I have been learning, it's very difficult to be able to apply that if you're not actually talking to people. And because of that level of consistency, having that daily immersion, having that daily source of practice, I am able to see my confidence in speaking in Cantonese grow over time. And also with the hardships of dealing with still not having an income, but still having to look past that and work, right, has really built up that resilience in me. to find success. I think looking back on this year abroad, it has changed me as a person, but it has made me less social of a person as well, because as a solopreneur personally, I haven't really talked to that many people on a professional level. I haven't been able to network as well, but that's partly on me because, you know, like anywhere, there's plenty of networking opportunities, especially in a big city. But with the language barrier as well, there was a funny time where I was in a restaurant. Instead of calling somebody over to pay, right, I ended up asking them to like get their order pad out because I had requested to order more stuff to eat. And in Cantonese, the difference is very subtle between how you ask for the bill versus how you ask to order. So I made that mistake and laughed it off and treated that as a lesson as to never do that again. Now, my personal tips to you if you were thinking of doing the same thing. Number one, of course, is be prepared for a culture shock. Don't come in here burning your savings and not having a plan on how to sustain yourself. Right? Think long and hard about it before you do it. Maybe have something lined up already before you move, or plan on like pivoting onto something part-time, or do some contracting roles or freelancing, and that way you don't have to live in a bubble as such, and you get to enjoy life a little bit more and not having to worry so much about not being able to enjoy yourself because you feel like you have to be somewhere. And number two, I would recommend having visited the place that you're moving to before you're moving there, because you don't want to come in here, find out that you don't actually like it here, and then move back. Not only is it expensive, but it's a waste of time, and you know, it's very disruptive. And number three, a similar point as well, keep your expectations between having been somewhere on a holiday and being somewhere that you actually want to live, because as they all say, having a holiday versus living here are two different things. One place that you may call a ideal holiday may turn out to be a nightmare of the place that you want to live. So all three tips are related to just being overly prepared and being 200% sure that this is something you want to do. With that said, if you have done all that and you were thinking of doing it, I would say why not, you know, like go for it. And like if you are prepared and you move somewhere that you want to move to and it turns out you don't, you know, really love it after a year, at least you can say you've given it a go, you know, and you've moved here, you've immerse yourself a little bit in the culture. You get to experience doing the things you like, taste and enjoy nice food, travel to places that otherwise you were unable to reach as easily. And if that doesn't work out, just move back. You know, things in life, they're not usually a one-way door. So I say go for it. When you're 70, 80 years old and you're too weak and too fragile to move anywhere, you won't regret it when you're a lot older. So I hope this video does give you more of an insight as to what it's like as someone who has moved abroad, and if it acts as an extra nudge for anyone else to do the same, then that's really great. So I hope you enjoyed listening to my insights. I'm Melvin Speaks. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.